Greetings, friends. I had some thoughts I wanted to share with you this morning, and it was related to the question that was asked to me this morning, and that is this the best place to live? Idaho, the Treasure Valley. No doubt that it's certainly better than other places to live, isn't it? You know, with all of the banning of big gulps and salt and pepper shakers and bombs and all of those things. Weather, hey, Idaho's great, isn't it? My question wasn't related to necessarily is Idaho, but how long will be Idaho the best place to live? We all acknowledge that it's better than other states and other countries and other areas and all of that, which is why people move here. You know, what we all should realize is that the more people that tend to move here, they tend to bring other ideologies, not typically assimilate to our type of culture, which really has been subversive to other governments throughout our entire 50 states. So I wanted to start by asking how to define the best place to live and raise a family. Is it because you feel free? Or is it because you've given up all of your freedom for security? I heard on the radio this morning a guy says, "We've got a great place to live, man. We've got Governor Otter looking out for us, and we've got cops every 2 seconds on the road." Well, anybody knows I don't necessarily have anything against cops. I've got a little problem with the emerging police state. But cops every 2 seconds, and that's what makes this guy think that Idaho is the best place to live. And then he says, and we've got the finest roads in the country. Well, first of all, guy, have you traveled much of the rest of the country? And second of all, do you realize that we had to raise taxes because of the misappropriation of funds to be able to pay for these roads? And now that we're probably more entangled with the federal government than we ever have been. So, does that make us a better place to live now that we become more beholden to the federal government as slaves to the tyrant? I don't know. I know that through the abandonment of civics in Idaho and the fact that people believe that we're a socialist democracy, or they believe that we should have some other form of government because of the corruption, you know, that's really what they want. But they've never really seen a constitutional republic operate in the capacity that it's supposed to. And they believe that the Constitution is old and antiquated because they think that they've actually seen it working. And in reality, it hasn't been that way for over 100 years. So are we the best place to live because we're free or because we're secure? Or both? Well, I would submit because of most people's, they don't have understanding of civics or the Constitution or American history or anything like that. It's all about security. Hey, you've got your nationalized health care. You've got your nationalized Common Core. You've got your banning of guns. You've got the registration and environmental regulations and increased taxes and things that everybody else is doing. So if in Idaho these are things that are happening everywhere else, then how long will Idaho be the best place to live to raise a family before we really start identifying that we probably better start putting walls up and preventing what's eroding these other areas, these other states, these other cities? So, and then they said the nonprofits are the stars of our industries. Anybody looked at nonprofit fraud? Probably not. Have you looked at how the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judiciary are all on boards of directors? They create a multitude of nonprofits and line their pockets? I thought not. So really, are they the stars of the industries, or are we just buying the media-driven propaganda campaign that Idaho is better than anywhere else? What about forced vaccinations? What about Common Core and healthcare and all of those things? It seems to me that Idaho is only the best place to live right now because it's comparing itself to other places. And so my question then again is, how long will we be free and the best place to live before we are not? And if we are the slowest to adopt those rates and we are still becoming communist, are we not still becoming communist? So, you know, we're hearing people say, we need profiling. You know, we've got these guys waving red banners or whatever, and somehow that's a racist thing, and somebody's getting stabbed, and we've got flying the Confederate flag at a public taxpayer-funded school with the board given the authority to tell them whether it's lawful or not through an administrative policy. We've got the markets, the global markets. We've got everybody speaking in the global language. You know, we've got all of the desire for free trade. We've got the Idaho state government, as wonderful and integral as they are. They're talking about creating jobs in the state of Idaho, but yet I can't find anywhere in our own state constitution that even finds that government should be involved in creating jobs. We've got refugees that are coming here by the droves, forced by the federal government, or I should say funded, follow the money on that one, where we have no idea of how many people are coming. They don't have to assimilate into this country at all. They don't have to adopt our constitutional republic. They don't have to abandon any foreign allegiance to their dictator or a form of government. They can be drunkards and they can be adulterers and they don't need witnesses, according to like the Walter McCarran Act of 1946. We've got the gays that are running rampant, and they're this gross minority is changing law for the majority and creating hate crimes legislation and enslaving good people for utilizing their freedom of speech, like I am, calling them sodomites. Then we've got the blatant federal overreach in everything. We've got unconstitutional wars, and God bless Idaho, we just love our troops. Because they're fighting for our freedom somehow in Afghanistan, while we have an enemy in our own White House that is calling us terrorists. We're not even looking at the fact that the federal government has created the enemy, they've funded the enemy, they've instilled fear in the American people, and now they want to take our tax dollars and to be able to fund our military to go home somewhere else, which is why I say that we're responsible for bringing them home in body bags. There has not been a constitutional declaration of war by Congress since 1942. So our occupation in every one of those countries is not, I support my troops. It's supporting the death of your troops. Bring them home and have them defend the homeland. That was a two-sided oath they took to defend and uphold the Constitution and to protect us from enemies, foreign and domestic. Protecting us from foreign enemies is not include something that was actually created by the federal government to be able to fulfill a political agenda. And what does that have to do with Idaho? It has everything to do with Idaho, because Idaho and its abandonment or its lack of knowledge in the Constitution and in civics allows us to be able to buy into patriotism being however it's being defined by government, as we know that our federal government has said it's patriotic to pay taxes, which it isn't. So Idaho, if we're the best place to live, what are we going to do to maintain that? Are we going to start paying attention now? Or are we going to just charge and support the blue and orange, man? Let's buy $8 beers and buy hot dogs, become obese, not pay attention to anything that's going on around us, and just spout that rhetoric. We support our troops. In Idaho, we're the best place to live. For now. We have a police state, and most people in this state don't even see it. We've got a governor that's completely out of control, a legislature that's completely out of control, and a judiciary that's just as corrupt as the other two branches. What the hell is so much better about Idaho than the rest of the country, except for the fact that you can't see it, or it's just the stuff that you don't know that's going on behind your back? So my question is, when are you guys going to start paying attention? When are you going to start to ask the tough questions? And when are you going to start getting in people's faces, as respectively as possible, and say, do you really understand the root cause of the problem? And we should take this opportunity that Idaho has right now, because we're not like the rest of the states, and try to stop the rest of the BS from happening. So I love you guys. That's just a couple of thoughts. Let's fight for this thing. We can still win it. We're Idaho. Talk to you later. Love you. Bye.